Hey VC, how you doing? It's Gordon at I Dig Vinyl, sitting in my back garden, enjoying a little bit of late September um, unseasonable sun at this time of the year in Scotland, and a little morning coffee to go with me. It's a lovely day. The birds are tweeting overhead, and I've got a little bunch of records to show, which are really just in praise of my local charity shop. So it's a wee haul of 6 records that I've been picking up as I've started to go to this little shop every Friday. It's become a wee ritual for me. You know what it's like when you go to a charity shop dig? Um, well, actually, maybe you don't know what it's like. Where I live, the charity shops are places that you quite like to support, but when it comes to looking for records, it's a bit of a desert. It's always a place of James Last, Sidney Devine, pipe band music, lots of Cliff Richard, things like that. And if I liked that music, wow, what a dream that would be. But it's certainly not my kind of thing. But it shows you that there must have been thousands of these records going around in the 1970s and 80s, and they've all been spat out into the local record shops. But recently, I've been going to a little place in my local town. It's called the Wee Bookshop, and it supports a brilliant local charity. And funnily enough, it's got a kind of quirky bunch of records. It's not like what you usually find. So it's a charity that I like to support anyway. So on a Friday after work, I just nip down, see what they've got, and I'll pick up a couple of records. Never thinking I'm going to find anything. There's no grails to be found or anything like that, and I'm not bothered by that. It's just the the selection is increasingly quirky, which I like. So my view about it is, if I pick up something that I'm not familiar with, and it turns out it's not really to my taste, well, I've made a donation, and I'll bring it back. But actually, what I'm finding is there's quite a unusual blend of records in this place that um, I I'm buying and I'm keeping them. Doesn't cost me a lot of money, um, but records, I've got a wee bunch of them here. Generally things I've never heard of at all. So I've quite enjoyed taking a bit of a punt, and I thought what I'll do is just show you what I've picked up from my local charity shop in the last 3 weeks. So I've only got 6 records here. I've actually got a few other ones I'm going to quickly show, because my theory on this is I should give them something back as well. So I've got a bunch of records that I think I'm going to take along to them next time, and they can see someone wants them. A few records that I think I need to start purging from my collection, to be honest. So my charity shop can be my venue to pass on things that maybe someone else will enjoy, because there's got to be someone who will like the ones that I've got. So I'm going to quickly show you what I've picked up and what I plan to give them next week, in no particular order at all. So first off, this album here is one I showed in a previous video, but I really love it. It's suppose it represents finding something that you're not going to really pick up anywhere else. It's an album called Dumar, and oh sorry, the band is Dumar, the album is Skunk. They're a Netherlands band. This is from 1980, and it's really cracking, sort of ska reggae. So it's upbeat. Some of it's quite dubby. It's all very very catchy, and it's almost all in Dutch. So I like that. I don't speak any Dutch. I speak a little bit of Afrikaans actually, because of my wife. But it doesn't matter. It's cool. It's upbeat. It's catchy, and it cost me £2. So um, win-win. Next one. I picked this up last Friday, completely randomly, and I think it's probably one that I might spin once or twice, and then maybe bring them back and they can sell it to someone else. So it's a guy called Eddie Money, and the album is called Playing for Keeps. Now, I don't think I'm going to keep. I don't think I will keep this, but I thought I'll just take a chance. It's from 1980. Genuinely someone I've never heard of at all. Only cost a few pounds. I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen? As I said, I'll bring it back if I don't like it. I've had a little stream of it, I haven't spun it yet, and I think it's pretty sort of soft rock sort of vibe. Genuinely never heard of this guy at all, and I thought, oh, maybe this is like a kind of offshoot of the sort of television style period. Kind of looks quite cool, but I don't know. Anyway, Eddie Money, only £4. Next, from a few weeks ago, I think this was the first one I bought from the place. I was just leafing through and I saw this album here. It's The Explorers. The Explorers, it's their only album from, it's about something like 1984, I think. The reason I picked it up is because when I checked out who the band were, I recognised Phil Manzanera on guitar, and then having a wee look more, I realised that this is the band that Phil and I think Phil and Andy basically formed after they left Roxy Music. So I thought, yep, this is probably going to be quite interesting, and it is. So it only cost me a few pounds. I think it was a fiver I paid for this. I think it's Ship of Fools. First track's particularly catchy. Quite a few pretty catchy tunes on here as well. So basically, very simple. We've got vocals, sax, and guitar, and it's kind of classic 1980s style, as you might imagine, and an enjoyable album. Again, not the kind of thing that was in any way on my radar at all. So that's a keeper for now, and maybe, might be one that I'll trade in at some point in the future, but I enjoyed picking that one up and checking it out. One from Friday, just picked this up. I thought this looks quite interesting. It's by someone called Box Cutter, and the album is called The Dissolve. So when I had a wee look at it, it's marked as, I think it says trip hop, doesn't it? Down tempo trip hop. I thought, okay, that sounds quite interesting. Funnily enough, it's not. It's not really down tempo trip hop. It's more kind of almost sort of drum and bass electronica. Quite funky actually. And it's not down tempo in my opinion. So it only cost £3. The Box Cutter's not someone I'd heard of at all. Someone out of UK artist. This is from 2011. It's really good stuff. It's I can hear some trip hop, I suppose, in it, but it's much more upbeat, I would say. Sort of dancey, as I said, electronica stuff, a wee bit funky as well. So this is something that I'll definitely keep, and it's something that I enjoyed. Sort of when you flick through, you think, yeah, this is worth a shot, and yeah, it's been a good one. Classic though. Flicking through, and this isn't an album that I've had. I've got quite a few albums by Johnny Cash, but I think I was much more familiar with Folsom Prison rather than the stuff at San Quentin. So this is great. I really enjoyed listening to it. The repartee of Johnny Cash and the stuff he says to the prisoners, I think, is brilliant. It's a great front man, and you can one of those live albums that you can just hear the atmosphere. It's absolutely electric. He sort of whips the crowd up into a bit of a frenzy. You can just imagine how the governors and stuff must have felt when he starts to launch into the song. He says, "I've written this one just last night," or something like that. It's called San Quentin. And then he goes into this sort of rant about how he hates the place. So it's great. I really love that. It's pretty short. It's good, reasonable copy. It's obviously had a bit of wear, but I got that for £2. So Johnny Cash live at San Quentin. Great album. What else have I got here? Um, so because it's a charity shop, I don't mind taking a punt on something like that. Have a wee look at it. So it's a band called the Lavender Faction that I'd absolutely never heard of, but sort of checking out the artwork and the timing of it and so on. Sort of guessed that they're certainly a UK indie band. It's from 1991. So took it home, spun it a few times, and I am enjoying what I'm hearing here. So Lavender Faction, they're from round about Durham sort of area, northeast England, and they they very much this stuff here is I think their fourth EP, something like that. It absolutely reminds me of a blend of somewhere in between the wedding present and a sort of shoegazy wedding present, which I like. I like a bit of shoegaze and I love the wedding present. They actually toured with the wedding present, I think, on, on several occasions. Some of it reminds me of Ride, so if you throw in that sort of Ride wedding present shoegazy vibe, you're pretty much in the zone. So it's an EP, 4 songs. It's called Four Riffs for Joe, and I think Joe was their roadie. So basically, it's 4 tunes, um, just to kind of say thanks for all the roadieing that you've done for us, I believe. Yeah, so classic about 1991, if you can picture that UK indie scene, guitar led, and it is a sort of blend, as I say, of Ride, shoegazy, and earlier wedding present influences. Really enjoyable. Not a band I've ever heard of, and not a band that I would expect to see in one of my local charity shops. So chuffed with that. I think that's it. So I just wanted to show you 6. So you get the idea though. Mixture of nice indie music, some unusual stuff from across the world. There's probably a few things that I pick up that are stuff I'm not going to enjoy, so I'll just bring it back. As I said, it's a great local charity, and I like to support it as well. So, and on that note, I think I'll give them some things next week. This is the first 4 that I sort of picked out from my shelf. So these are albums that I have that I'm not going to keep. So I'll just quickly show them. You've probably all got stuff like that. The way I go as a record collector is I'm a bit random about it. I don't really have too many set goals, so stuff just kind of floats in different ways, and then I end up thinking, where did that come from? And maybe it's time for it to float back out, just to create some space. So REO, is it Rio or REO? REO Speedwagon. Picked this up probably from a charity shop, I think, a while ago, and I remember quite enjoying them when I was really young, like a kid, aged about 10 or something like that. I think they featured on the classic compilation album, I think it's called Soft Metal or something. So I must have just picked this up, but it doesn't do too much for me. So I think I'm going to bring that down to the wee bookshop, and someone who wants a bit of that can enjoy it. Another one like that. I'm not a Spandau Ballet fan. Though I have to say I love the first tune on this album. To cut a long story short, I think it's a great pop song. Brilliant kind of electronic riff that runs through it. It's just brilliant actually. But the rest of the album isn't for me. So this is Spandau Ballet, their Journeys to Glory. I'm pretty sure that someone out there is going to enjoy this one. So the wee bookshop's getting that next week. This one too, it's Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love. Played this a few times. I picked it up in a big box of vinyl that I got a few weeks ago, and I'm not and never will be a Bruce Springsteen fan. I've kind of tried with Bruce many times, but it just doesn't click for me at all. So it is what it is. This album, if you like Bruce, I'm sure you'll like it, but for me, I don't. So mid 80s, and yeah, it's not my kind of thing. So off you go, Bruce. And then last, not least, for someone, but this is another album that I've had many of these in my collection. They come in and they go again. I just don't get. I can't enjoy this, I'm afraid. I feel like I should enjoy it, but I don't, and I've tried and I've tried. It's Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Um, I know it's one of those albums that seems to get very mixed sort of reviews. It's very lauded, I think, in many ways, quite critically acclaimed. And I've read lots of fantastic reviews of it, and I can get the scope that's going on, but for me, I just I can't get into it. I know it's one of those ones that I think reading up on it, uh, that was Peter Gabriel's last sort of moments with Genesis, and I've read some interviews where it sounds like no one really knew what was going on here. Some interviews from Phil Collins, I think it was. So Peter Gabriel outgrew the band, I think, after this one and went off in his solo career, and I've enjoyed some of his solo albums, but no, it's just too dense, and as a concept, I don't think I'm going to get this one, but I do know there'll be plenty of people who will enjoy it. So I hope the the charity shop gets a nice little price for it. So that's it. Just a quick video celebrating the local charity shop, and it's one of those ones where you know when you walk in, you never really know what you're going to walk back out with, and I like that about it. So big up the charity shops. You probably have something like that in your local area. For a long time, I've not really had that. As I said, it's just a sea of kind of mediocre, bashed up junk. But this one's a bit different. So hope you enjoyed it. My coffee's got rather cold down there. Better go and heat it up again. Anyway, all the best, guys. Cheers.